Hello peeps and hello peppers and welcome to Miðvikudags Manatee. Like Miðvikudagur means mid-week day in Icelandic. Icelandic is actually very close to Old English. So you might recognize a lot of words with some fantasies, but like recently it has come into discussion in Iceland that we are kind of lacking infrastructure to teach Icelandic to people who move here, and it is my understanding that the government at this time in September 2025 wants to, let's say, shorten the financial resources towards that even more. To me, because I'm like a storyteller and a trained linguist, that is sort of a sign that we have to strengthen like community efforts where people help each other in reasonable ways. And yeah, because it's always my Wednesday manatee, I'm doing like something with a manatee. If you have never been here, and actually today I met two people who wanted to check out the channel. Yeah. On Wednesdays, I'm always doing something that is at least distantly related to a manatee because, in case you don't know, I'm writing a book about like a manatee-like creature, and the manatee is sort of my totem animal because I already swam really slow when I was a kid, and I'm still taking pride in it, being chubby and being slow. So the other day I had this. How is this staying open? Sometimes my life has to stay a little bit more open. I had this really interesting conversation with my friend about being prepared for whatever I want to do, because like preparing diligently can save a lot of energy for the actual act. Like that can be traveling, that can be writing a letter. Yes, writing a letter is a hobby, but let's say if I'm not prepared, then it can turn into a really stressful pastime. And like, because I was at the mall today for too long, I had to put less things into the heart, and yeah, only write a heart for tomorrow. But let's say, to the people who don't know, I have autism, and one autism pedagogue also told me like many years ago that I should not make a day plan the same day I plan to do it, rather for tomorrow. Because then I can already prep my brain a little bit, and I really have to diminish the number of errands. In an ideal world, I would actually draw while I'm babbling, and I'm also using my abundant notebook collection. Hey, I really like this moth, and I really like this mushroom theme because mushrooms have a really wide root network. Otherwise, I'm kind of not into trends and commercialism normally. Yeah. To be conscious of my root network and my symbiosis and my energy levels, I should actually just concentrate on the most important errands. Like previously, I have written day lists with like 20 items, and every item would realistically take at least an hour, and let's say no one I know is awake for straight 20 hours. If you are, tell me in the comments. I indeed received a letter today where an old friend told me, I admire your energy. but my energy has kind of a spike profile. Like, it can be very much way up there and then way down there, and it comes and goes in waves, and I don't know in advance what these waves are. So and yes, another advice I received about day planning is that I should put such trivial things as brushing my teeth in there too. But let's say, despite trying that, I can't, because I have to connect brushing the teeth and showering and so on automatically with other things that I'm doing anyway. Otherwise, I would forget them. So actually, the teeth brushing will happen sort of short before the morning letters. Okay, this will never look like a toothbrush. Use your imagination. I like the mammoth much better than the toothbrush, and like many autistic people, I find my artsy hobbies way more interesting than bathroom routines. It says 2 morning letters because they are connected. And actually, I get more things done when I can connect them to something. So yeah, tomorrow is swimming. That's twice a week. And I don't have far to go for it. Self-empowerment class is really important to me. And like, in an ideal world, now I would have plenty of colored pencils on my walker. But I don't. Yeah, Thursday Thoughts is actually a category of YouTube videos that I'm making. And yes, I'm writing books while I'm listening to people. And Eva Eyvindur is one of my very important characters because they live between the genders, even though some people can't imagine this. And Eva Eyvindur has, in the context of the story that I'm writing, researched the sea monster already 100 years ago. Because like sometimes I have the impression that people are always like reinventing the wheel and not paying attention to innovators who already were there a while ago. Of course, my writing is a lot from the fairy tale country, so actually today I treated myself to this new tarot game that has the same like canvas structure and same moon pattern as my, like, old film tarot that I sometimes present on this channel. Only it's fairy tale pictures. Okay. This one came out in reverse. The Queen of Wands. She's so cute. She reminds me a little bit here of Vaiana. Like, you remember maybe the Disney movie. I don't take Disney movies literal, but I like all stories of strong girls who listen to a spirit guide in a good way. And who find their own way of life. And I also like how these plants here are in the corner, like talking about root networks. And hey, there is a volcano! I also received an email the other day that basically asked me if I'm scared of the volcanoes in Iceland. I'm not, because let's say they are a life reality. That I just, let's say, at least up to this point, I am living hand in hand with them because I chose to live in Iceland. And at least in this moment, I'm in the position to say I am only a little grain of sand on the beach. And nature is always moving, and I have to live with that. What do we have here? Okay, this was I didn't want to show actually this card, but it's like an Inuit legend where, let's say, someone was separated from their fingers, but the fingers became the sea creatures. Maybe also the manatee. But I didn't want to show my audience severed fingers now. I want my audience and friends to be in good health as far as that goes. A raven is always very clever. Okay, I mean, from the beak, it should be a raven. And 8 is always the number of movement, and the ones are always the fire element, so maybe this is even like a phoenix, like bringing the fire back to life, spreading the wings. Maybe someone who's watching this needs to hear that, like, your projects are getting back to life, like even when the winter is slowly making itself known. Like, of course, it's autumn, and I got some autumn writing paper in the mail, but like after autumn there comes winter. And in case you haven't noticed, Iceland is 200 kilometers from the North Pole, so we have something akin to a polar night. So there are 2 or 3 months. I'm kind of putting my head in the sand, so I never count the exact amount of time where we only have like 3 hours of daylight. And if someone happens to live in northern Iceland, it's even less. In Reykjavik, we are still like kind of well off with the light in winter. And of course, the tourists come here for a lot of northern lights that you, by the way, barely see with the light pollution in the city. But sometimes you're lucky. And some people can make good photos from their balconies, and actually this pattern looks like Northern Lights a little bit. The tower in reverse. I think I shall use this this deck also to propel my story, because my novel project begins with a very important building in the city burning. Yeah, right. Lightnings are actually. When I first started learning Icelandic 20 years ago, I was informed that lightning and thunder is really rare in Iceland. I forgot why, but it's increasing with the climate change. The Empress. I really hope that my writing will help me to gain like more mental independence from people, and will always also help my audience to think more about themes in their lives. Like when I unpacked the deck, I also saw such a beautiful card with a mermaid and goldfish, but that won't come out for 5 cents now. So, well, maybe tomorrow I shall tell you one of my favorite stories. Also with throwing stuff into the sea that turned into goldfish. Yeah. But let's say don't throw stuff into the sea that you don't need to throw into the sea. I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Bye bye.